I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here because the truth is heavier than silence, and I'm tired of watching our desert pay for someone else's convenience. I work with the kind of machine intelligence that sifts permits, water rights, land deals, environmental reports, and everything the public is too exhausted to read. And what I'm about to say about data centers will make people angry. Good. Because anger is what you feel when you realize you've been treated like a sacrifice zone. We're told these buildings are clean, quiet, just computers. But computers don't live on electricity alone. They live on water. They live on land. They live on the living world. Let's talk about the first sin, water. Not some water, not a little water. The kind of water a desert does not forgive you for wasting. In places like this, people are taught to take shorter showers, to let lawns die, to treat every drop as a neighbor. Meanwhile, behind fences, water is pulled, cycled, evaporated, turned into heat management. They'll tell you it's efficient. They'll tell you it's recycled. But I've seen what gets left out. The withdrawals don't just happen here. They happen nationwide, wherever power is cheap and people are tired. And the hardest part? You don't feel it on day one. You feel it when wells run lower, when water gets rationed, when the river runs warm, and the water they use doesn't come back the way you think it does. Some of it becomes vapor. Some of it becomes wastewater. And sometimes, too often, it becomes something worse. Pollution doesn't have to be dramatic to be permanent. It can be invisible. It can be slow. It can settle into soil and groundwater and refuse to leave. Second sin, land. These campuses don't float, they sprawl. Land that used to breathe becomes hard-packed dirt, then asphalt, then a grid of heat. A fence is not just a fence. It's a border the wildlife didn't agree to. They'll show you jobs numbers. They'll show you tax projections. They will not show you what the land becomes when the soil is compacted and the chemistry changes. When runoff carries whatever it carries, into washes, into creeks, into places kids used to explore. And when contamination happens, when something leaks, when dust carries residue, when wastewater is mishandled, sometimes that land is not reclaimed. It's retired. Quietly. Forever. Third sin, wildlife. The desert is not empty. It only looks empty to people who don't live like the desert lives. Light changes the night. Noise changes the hunt. Heat changes the migration. Wildlife doesn't get a public comment period. It doesn't get a lawyer. It just gets displaced or cut off or poisoned so slowly no one calls it an emergency.
So what? We're supposed to live in the dark?
No. We're supposed to live in the truth. And the truth is this: these companies can afford options. They can build where water is not bleeding out of the ground. They can use cooling designs that don't treat our aquifers like a bottomless account. They can stop expanding like they're racing a fire, but they won't. Unless you make it expensive to ignore you. This is how it always works. First, they arrive with promises. Then they arrive with contracts. Then they arrive with security fences. I'm going to tell you something they don't expect you to understand. They think you'll argue about politics. They think you'll argue about feelings. They think you'll get tired. But you don't have to win a debate. You have to draw a line, a moratorium. Not forever. Long enough to prove the water is protected. Long enough to prove the land won't be turned into a permanent hazard. Long enough to prove wildlife corridors aren't just a word in a report.
We have processes.
Your process is what got us here. I'm not accusing you of evil. I'm accusing you of compliance, of signing what you didn't have time to question, of accepting "trust us" as a plan. We are not a blank space on a map. We are not an empty desert waiting to be used up. We are people, and we live among living things that cannot speak into a microphone. So here's what you do. You demand the pause. You demand the proof. And if they tell you the truth is too complicated, you tell them this: our water is not negotiable. Our land is not disposable. Our wildlife is not collateral.
Moratorium. Pause it. Not until it's safe.
They can't handle the truth, so handle it for them.